If every time I see Drake, I cause harm to him. Every time my brother see Drake, he cause harm to him. My mama, daddy, sister, fiance, cousins,
God.
everybody on my side cause harm to Dre and his people. It's common sense, and I hope for Dre's safety, he able to reason and say, I ain't gonna lie. When I see them, either two things gonna happen. I'm gonna get out of Dodge, or I'm gonna attack them. You will have to separate yourself from them first.
Yeah.
That's what I feel like the first thing is, because if you stay amongst them and you don't separate from them and you only try to do your own thing, they will continue to interfere with you. So imagine.
So when you say separate, do you mean leave the United States?
God telling the people in Mystery Babylon, hey, I want y'all to come out of her so you won't be partakers in her sin.
So I think most of us have been conditioned for so long that stuff gonna go wrong that we prepare for it to go wrong even before it go wrong.
All right, y'all, welcome back to another episode of the Dontbeaviking podcast. Y'all see we in a new environment. Now, we in Brody's studio. He got a podcast. We gonna make sure we put his stuff on the screen, put it in the description, whatever. Y'all go tap in with him. He talk about funding, getting your credit right, getting that money right. Y'all go tap into that. If y'all tapping into relationships and family and marriage, one of the things you need to build a family is paper. You can try to build a broke ass family. I don't really think it's gonna work. I don't really think she gonna want your broke ass. I don't think you gonna want your broke ass. The kids damn sure not gonna want one of y'all broke ass. So it just won't be a good way to start a family, goddamn. So what we gonna talk about is what we had talked about last night for like 2 hours. Really good phone call, really good deal. We was talking about, I even forgot how we got on the conversation. We was talking about, is white people our natural enemy, or is it not that deep? Am I looking into it in a way where my perspective is not all the way correct? Now, before we get into that, introduce yourself, bro. Tell them your name. I usually do name, age, relationship status. But since we ain't talking about family stuff, you can still answer that. I often say, since we're talking about family stuff, so not talking about family stuff, relationship status might not even be important. But introduce yourself.
Okay. So, how is everyone doing today? I'm Dre Williams. I forgot 3 quick. Name. Okay.
It started off strong. I thought you was ready to tackle everything. You started off real confident.
Okay.
Name, age, relationship status.
Cool. So I'm Dre Williams, age 22 years old, and relationship status. Since we not talking about relationship stuff, we gonna leave that alone. We don't want to make nobody. We gonna chill on them.
All right, so let's freshen up on what we already said. Then we'll pick up with what we left off at.
Okay. So real quick before you jump into that, I want to say I definitely want to double down on what he said. Can't start a family without pay, man.
Can't start.
Gotta get the bread.
Like what? Like I said, you can try. A lot of people tried.
100%.
A lot of people failed. So
facts.
I don't even necessarily know where we started, so I might jump around out of order. Okay. Let's put the positions on the table first, so y'all will know who's staying where. I was saying they are our like natural enemy, like from the get go, from ever since they was here and we was amongst them, they was amongst us. We enemies. He was saying not necessarily. Now, I'm not going to expound on his point. I'm going to let him expound on his point. But that's what I was getting at. We natural enemies, simple as that. So I started to preference my stance by saying, if we was born in completely different circumstances, if our genetic makeup different than theirs, if the way we came into existence and the way they came into existence is different, if the way we operate a society and the way they operate a society is different, if every single thing I can look at is not only different, but opposites, then naturally we have to be enemies. So if I just say that alone, you can look at it like, not necessarily. Like, there's some stuff that's different that it's not necessarily enemies that are okay, cool. I said that's a fair point. Then I had brought up, but bringing that up, bringing the points I just brought up, and pairing that with the history of how white people have acted against us and how we have suffered when we're amongst them, pairing those two things up should be enough conclusive evidence to say, naturally, we're enemies. And do you remember your response?
Okay, so I want to start with something that I said a little later into the conversation,
Okay.
which is how I personally think about it is I think before we worry about playing a team game, we should get our individual selves together because it's a lot harder to get 30 people moving than it is to get you moving. Okay. So the first thing I say is that one, right now with our current position, I don't think we should look at it as a us versus them thing. Okay. Because right now we're not together enough as a community or society, and maybe worldwide, if we come together, which we haven't shown that we can do, as efficiently as we would need to play a us versus them game, I would say that, again, the most important thing is the individual people. Okay. One of my favorite quotes when it comes to teams is like, if you want a team full of A players, you gotta get rid of all the B players, regardless of how valuable their contribution once was. And I'm not saying that we should get rid of B, C players or whatever the case is, but we can get ourselves together where we can all be A players. Okay. Like, and everybody A player won't look the same, but there are all things that we really can strive in and excel in. And I think that more than focusing on us versus them would be the best first step.
Okay. Now, I would say to that, and I feel like that's a good point, but I say with every single point we touch on, we have to remember who we talking about. Okay. So using logic that will align with most things don't align with people like white people. And I'm going to give an example. Now, and this something me and him said on the phone, and I'm put this out here. If anybody try to say I'm racist, you a dumbass. Because to be racist means to dislike or hate somebody, be prejudiced towards somebody based off their skin color. Because I'm not basing my beliefs or basing my judgment off a skin color. I'm basing my stuff off what this race of people have done. I'm basing my stuff off actions, not how you look, how you came out the womb. Gee, that don't mean that. I'm basing my stuff off out of the history that we have on these people from now to the beginning of when these people came into existence. Have they been mistreating me, my forefathers, my mothers, my brothers, my sisters? Have they been mistreating us? If the answer is yes, and I then say I want nothing to do with these people, and you look at me and say something is wrong with him, damn. If every time I see Drake, I cause harm to him. Every time my brother see Drake, he cause harm to him. My mama, daddy, sister, fiance, cousins, everybody on my side cause harm to Drake and his people. It's common sense, and I hope for Drake's safety, he able to reason and say, I ain't gonna lie. When I see them, either two things gonna happen. I'm gonna get out of Dodge, or I'm gonna attack them. It's simple as that. If he constantly see me and try to pull a Martin Luther King, no disrespect to our brother, and say, well, I'm gonna like try to hug my enemy, extend the olive branch, and keep getting his ass whooped. Let's say he tried it, cause he think, bruh, that was me, and I mistreat somebody, and they try to lend their heart out and extend it with, bruh, I respond well to this. So let's say he tried it. Let's say he tried it for a while, and I keep whooping his ass, and he keep trying it. He a dumbass. What's the definition of insanity? Doing the same thing over and over again, expecting a different result. Most black people is insane. That's my argument. You see what I'm saying?
Okay. So I wanna touch on something with that.
Yeah.
So regardless of the stance that I take in this conversation,
Yeah.
I'm definitely not telling people to do that. I'm definitely not saying do what we have done that hasn't worked.
Facts.
That's not what I'm saying at all. So we can go ahead and go into the next thing, but I do want to preface and say that I'm not saying that we should keep going down the same road because we can see the bridge is out.
Facts.
If we take this street again,
now
knowing the bridge is out, is nobody's fault but ours.
What I was gonna say in reference to what you just said previously, the reason I don't think that'll work, and like why I said
each one of us treating ourselves together first.
Right.
Okay.
You can't treat the logic because that's good logic. Mm-hmm. But certain logic don't necessarily handle the problem when dealing with the enemy like white people. And I'm finna explain why. Mm-hmm. If you try to say, well, I'ma, for lack of a better word, ignore them. I ain't gonna put my attention or focus on them. And I'ma just focus on bettering myself. Boy, that sounds like a damn good plan. But with white people, this is why their plan won't work. Excuse me. Did Black Wall Street not do that? Did they not say, gang, we're not going to spend our energy, spend our time worrying about what white people doing, trying to this, that, and the third with white people. We're going to focus on this. We're going to build with us. We're going to build ourselves individually. We're going to build our community. We're going to grow our brotherhood, grow our sisterhood. We're going to do X, Y, and Z. We're going to build ourselves up from zero. They did that. Now, the reason why they fail, and they're not the only ones to do that, that's just the famous example. So that's easy to follow along with. Cool. The reason why that will continue to fail, if you just try to ignore white people in that way, I do think ignoring white people is right. You shouldn't spend your time focusing on them. That won't do you too much. But you have to separate yourself from them first. Yeah. That's what I feel like the first thing is, because if you stay amongst them and you don't separate from them and you only try to do your own thing, they will continue to interfere with you. So imagine. So
when you say separate, do you mean leave the United States?
Now, let's say like in the ideal situation, yeah, is that gonna happen? Hell no. So yeah, since that's not gonna happen, and I think Marcus Garvey was like proposing it, like, let's all go back to Africa. Mm-hmm. I don't think that's a bad idea. I just think it's a little bit on the unrealistic side.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I think that's a good idea, like you said. I think that would be hard to execute, especially hard to execute like in any quick time period. And when I say quick, I mean 10 years.
Facts.
I don't think we could all migrate in a 10-year period.
Like you said, if everybody was on that page,
even then,
it'll create some chaos. Because where you think we're gonna go over there? You think they just got that much land ready to give away?
It is a lot of us. It is a lot of us.
So for one, we don't want to mess their economy up. That's our brothers and sisters. We should care about them. We should care about if 1 million, 10 million, 50 million of us go over there, what the hell will happen? You see what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. So what will happen to them? So for one, we should want to be good brothers and sisters to them over there. And two, man, a lot of black people can't even decide on who to vote on together. You think everybody from decide to flip countries? Bruh, hell no. So by separation, I mean, like the Bible say, when trying to warn the people from not being partakers in Mystery Babylon's sins, God is telling his people, we'll get back to that. Just like we said on the phone, Jesus was talking to somebody and he said, y'all devils. He was talking to a human. Cool. God telling the people in Mystery Babylon, hey, I want y'all to come out of her so you won't be partakers in her sin. Okay? What does come out of her mean? I don't think God is saying literally switch countries. You know what I'm saying? Especially depending on or under the assumption of we know who God's people is. The same people is being. God always picked the despised and rejected. You think that the despised and rejected got the capital to just flip country? You know what I'm saying? So he couldn't have been saying go to another country. So what does come out of her, my people mean? Stop having the same mindsets and ideologies that country that people have. Stop trying to unify with them. Don't pull no Martin Luther King, goddamn. Don't try to. I want to unify. If they want to segregate, I agree. Let's segregate as far as we can. You see what I'm saying? So, separate like physically, like make your own establishments. Don't try to keep begging them for nothing. X, Y, and Z. Cool. Separate mentally. Free your mindset from them. Separate economically. Do for self. Like create your own grocery stores, farmland, etc. Cool. Come out of her in that way. Stop trying to be buddy with them people. You see what I'm saying? So that's the separation, I think. Now, with the separation, if we was to make our own nation, America is a nation. So if we was to make our own black nation within America, a nation has a line of defense, an army. You see what I'm saying? Black men, black women got to unify. You know what I'm saying? We got to be willing to die and fight for what we think is right. Now, everybody claim they believe in God. David whooped Goliath's ass. David wasn't supposed to win that damn fight. You know what I'm saying? We can use other examples like what's bro who was in the belly of the wheel? Was it Jonah? Yeah. Like now we know this metaphoric. But since a lot of y'all take the Bible literal anyway, let's say he was really in the goddamn wheel. He was supposed to die. You see what I'm saying? If the devil made a bargain on Job's life, Job was supposed to die. You see what I'm saying? So God is always on his people's side. So as black men and women, if we unify and we fight a good fight, let's say we outnumber 1,000,000 of them, 100,000 of us. This look like some shit we supposed to lose. You see what I'm saying? But if everybody believe in God, like y'all say y'all believe in God, fight the good fight. Okay. And believe. So, not to cut your wisdom, but I just want to finish this point. So, I feel like the reason that won't work, just focusing on ourselves and trying to ignore them, is because imagine trying to heal and you right here healing. Let's like Fortnite, like you bandaging yourself. Okay. And while you bandaging yourself, every time I feel like it, I just shoot you. And I'm taking off 33 HP every time I shoot you. Okay. No matter how many bandages you got, gang. Every time you healing up, I'm just right over you, shooting you. In order to heal, you first must not, okay, I'm just focusing on myself. You first must get rid of the threat. Okay. You see what I'm saying? Okay. You first must cut off the access that the enemy has to you. Okay. You see what I'm saying?
100%. Okay, so let's unpack this. First, I want to go back to what you said when it comes to Black Wall Street. Yeah. Okay, so Black Wall Street. So yes, were we separate from them? Absolutely. But Black Wall Street was still a huge group of us. Okay. So I'm saying I don't think we at the Black Wall Street level yet. Okay. I'm saying that I think people individually, like when I leave here, I'm gonna go home to my family and I got a whole community around me. Okay. When you leave here, you gonna go home to your family and you got a community around you. Yeah. What I'm saying is the first goal need to be, okay, we in the same house. Like I did a TED talk a little while ago And the title of the talk was like how to find the game rigged in your favor.
Okay.
The reason that that's important and the reason why I chose that topic is because people don't understand that like we all are very, very different. So that means we all do different things extremely better than others.
Okay.
So right now, we're not all in the same place. So like you said, if somebody is physically harming you, then yeah, you can't just heal yourself if you're being harmed at the same time.
Okay.
But all of us aren't in the healing ourselves stage. We do have some people in our community who have healed themselves. So if we're going to do like a separate thing, if we're going to separate and create our own thing, those people have to be ready to step up and be, even if you aren't on the front line of security, have to be able to put some of your resources to their front line.
Okay.
So I think that's what we would have to do if we're going to go to a group thing.
So
individually, I think every man have to attack the problem that's in front of them. So where we start, I'm in the financial industry. If you don't have no paper, you should get some paper. If you do have paper, but you don't have a community around you, you should put a community of strong people around you. Because one of the coldest quotes I ever heard, and like, is you have to understand it. It's like a group of sheep led by a lion will do a group of lions. I can't remember the quote, but better. Basically, like if your leader is better than the other leader, that group is usually the better group as well.
Okay.
So the people who are at the top, the people who are already there, I think we have to focus and get about them. So like,
you said focus and do what?
Focus and I gave a basketball example. Get about them.
Oh.
So week 4 quarter game on the line. The Lakers shouldn't let Bronny James Jr. shoot the game winner. I'm not saying that Bronny can't hoop too.
Okay.
But if we have a choice, we probably should lead the important and big shots to LeBron.
Okay.
So I think we have to do the same thing as a community. I think the high level problems, I think we need to give to the high level people in our community who are ready to solve those type of things and have the resources to solve those type of things.
Okay.
If we're playing a group game and on the individual level, so that people can get ready to get into the group game and be a contributor in the group game, I think we have to find like, okay, what is the hole in my defenses right now? Whatever that may be, and fill that hole.
Okay.
Like, regardless of what's going on, how high you turn the water. If you got a hole at the bottom of the bucket, you ain't keeping no water in.
The hole at the bottom of the bucket is white people. That's what I'm arguing.
Okay, so
if
what
we
I'm saying,
plug that hole, let's say like how you said individual progress.
Yeah.
Is nothing I disagree with that.
Mm-hmm.
My teacher, the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan, say self development or self improvement, either or, is the basis for community development. So I think he says self development is the basis for community development. So in every sense of that, I agree with you. But like I said, you can't heal if you trying to heal yourself with the enemy present attacking you and heal yourself with the enemy's medical supplies. Okay. So you have to first identify who the enemy is. Right. After identifying it, cut the enemy off. Absolutely. After you cut the enemy off, let's say I'm at the bare bottom. Let's say I'm on like 1 health. Like, if anybody breathe on me, I'm gonna die. If I cut the enemy off while I'm at 1 HP, I now give myself the opportunity to grow individually because now I'm cutting off the attacks. You see what I'm saying?
No, I definitely agree with you there. But see, here's what how I pose the question to you. How many people, and like again, I understand big picture. Yeah. how we're being attacked as a community.
Yeah.
I'm not for 1 second saying I'm confused about what's going on in the world.
Right.
But I'm saying us individually,
Okay.
how many of us are like being attacked on a day-to-day basis? I think a lot of the problems, like, and again, I'm not trying to say that all of our problems can be solved if we start pulling on our own bootstraps.
Yeah.
'Cause I know that some things are bigger than that.
Yeah.
But what I'm saying is most of us, when we walk outside on a day-to-day basis, aren't dealing with the enemy attacking us on a day in and day out basis. A lot of the stuff that like slow down our progress on the day-to-day basis are the stuff that we're indulging in.
Okay.
So like, has the enemy been doing us wrong for 200 years? Did they do us wrong for the last 200 years? Absolutely. But I think it's like, okay, get the example that you gave. So let's go back. Say that every time your people see my people, they attack my people, and same thing, vice versa.
Yeah.
Every time my people see your people, they attack your people.
Okay.
Like, we did it for 30 years straight. What would make you think, even if on year 30, day 1, we stopped doing it, what would make you like come outside and start like moving different? You see what I'm saying? Because if you've been attacked for 30 years, even if people stop throwing rocks at you when you go outside, like, you're not going to stop bringing whatever you was using to protect yourself from rocks at first. Like, you're not going to wake up one morning like, I just got a great feeling that they've been attacking me for 30 years.
Yeah.
That every time I went outside, they done got on my case. But like, when I go outside today, it's going to be different. Even if they not throwing rocks no more.
Okay.
When you go outside originally, you're not prepared for this. So I think most of us have been conditioned for so long that stuff gonna go wrong that we prepare for it to go wrong even before it go wrong.